Hello, good morning. So, how was your weekend? What did you do? You know, did you embrace it? Did you enjoy it? Did you do something that you like to do? Did you make time for yourself? These are all questions that you should be asking yourself because when you're grieving, when you're dealing with trauma, the weekends can be one of the hardest times because during the week, most people are working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, and they can somehow get on with it. They can put their grief to a certain place and they can keep busy, which in itself is, depending on how you look at it, whether or not you are running away from the grief, so you're keeping yourself busy to pretend it never happened, that's a bad thing. If you're keeping yourself busy because you've decided to step back into life and you're finding a place for your grief, that you are talking about it regularly, you are allowing yourself to feel your grief in between those busy moments, and that's good. That's putting grief where it's supposed to be. But a lot of clients that I talk to, they dread Saturday and Sunday. They dread that weekend where they might have done things with a loved one, where they might have um, gone visiting their loved one, or that they haven't got the busyness, because they've been busy all week and they take the weekend and they go, ah, oh, crap. Here come all the emotions. Here comes everything that I've pushed aside all week. Wham. And it hits them like a bullet. And they can hate that. Obviously they've got nowhere to hide. They've got nowhere to run. They can't keep busy. Or what some clients do, they try and keep busy. They try and find any jobs that they can do at the weekend just that they are constantly running and they don't have to deal with the grief and they don't have to deal with the trauma. I had one client years and years ago who was basically changing her house every week. She couldn't afford to move, and I told her, don't make any big decisions about moving. Your husband has only just died. But she kept changing the house. So every time I was going to see her, the house was different. The couches were in a different place. The lounge was completely changed around all the time. She would move things around the kitchen, in the dining room. Everything was always different. She was always painting as well. It's like, what are you doing? I said, well, I've got to keep busy at the week. And she was doing this at weekends. She was working Monday to Friday. And at weekends, she was just trashing the house just so she could change it and put it back together again. It was exhausting. It was mentally, emotionally, and physically draining. But she could not sit and face her grief. It was just something that she just couldn't do. And I get that. I absolutely understand that. People will use the weekends to drink themselves to oblivion. People will use the weekends to just drive anywhere. Doesn't matter where, they just drive. People will use the weekends to go and help other people so that they're not at home. The problem with that is, one, you're exhausting yourself. You're not giving yourself time to rest. If you've been working Monday to Friday, when are you resting? When are you actually going to allow yourself to emotionally turn and face your grief? Because it's not going to go away. You can't outrun it. That just doesn't happen. You can't outrun grief. You can't keep yourself busy and hope that grief is going to go away and forget you're there. No. The best advice that I can give anybody is to find time that works for you and allow yourself, whether that's an hour a day, half an hour a day, whatever it is, and sit and write about how you feel. What is actually happening for you in that moment? What kind of feelings are you getting? What kind of thoughts are you getting around your grief at that moment? And write them down and then tear them up or burn them and throw them away. You're getting it out of your head. You're getting it out onto paper. You're seeing it. You're allowing yourself to feel it. And then you can get on with your day. If you can do that, then you're not going to carry it around with you. You're not going to, I had this guy who I saw for quite a while. His wife had died, and he was an old coal miner. And something he said, I just think it's so powerful. He said before he came to speak to me, it was like carrying 2 bags of coal on his back again. It was a heaviness. It was overwhelming. It was dragging him down. He couldn't, he could barely get out of bed. He could barely move. He could barely function. It was so heavy. By the time he'd finished talking to me and working with me, it felt like he had a couple of pieces of coal in his pocket that he could take out. He could mourn his wife. He could remember the good times. He could remember everything. He could allow himself to feel, then put them back in his pocket. It made his day bearable. He found ways to cope. And that's what we need to do, cope, because grief is like any other wound. It can heal, but you've got to allow it to heal. You've got to give it time. You've got to give it the right plaster. You've got to give it the right medication. You've got to give it the right time and energy and stuff. So I hope that helps you. Let me know how you get on. All right. Lots of love to you. Bye for now.